Morning. I'm author and illustrator Dani Lebeaux. If you're seeing this, then like me, you probably had an interest in the recent Guillermo Del Toro Frankenstein movie. Or maybe you're just generally interested in Frankenstein altogether. Welcome. Now, who the fuck am I, right? Okay, I am, like I said, author and illustrator Dani Lebeaux. If you've heard of Raining Crow as an artist name or of just Dani Lebeaux as an author, that'd be me. Also, if you've ever seen in children's books illustrated by Cody Sims, that'd be me. With that said, this particular book, Adam 315, is a retelling of Frankenstein. I spent over a decade of my life immersed in research for the retelling in the history of the novel, in the different versions of the novel, in the history of the lives of those surrounding Mary Shelley. Therefore, why am I popping up on the screen? Because a Frankenstein movie just came out, and it just so happens to be my very strong opinion. If you went and saw this, if you really liked this particular interpretation, Del Toro's interpretation, have I got a book for you, and I'm going to tell you why. Some people have actually been a little bit nervous that I would be upset with how much similarity this new interpretation from Del Toro has with my book. I'm going to talk a bit about that in a minute. But more people have been upset by the fact that it's not a straight adaptation. I'm going to tell you right now, even as a FrankenStan myself, I'm not one of those people. I love the movie, but I knew this was going to be Del Toro's interpretation going in, and being familiar with his work, I kind of knew what to expect. He delivered that. I am not upset by the changes where he aged someone up, changed some of the backstory. You know why? Because he kept the essence of the version that I like best. Now that matters. Victor in this, he ain't the 1831 version, okay? He's the 1818 version. His attitude comes off differently. His culpability is at a different level. Same goes for the creature. You'll find within the fandom community, there seems to be a greater draw for the 1818 version than the 1831 version, which is a greater draw for the literary community. It's an interesting divide. And basically what that means is sympathy for the creature is higher, and negative feelings regarding Victor are also higher, if they're a fan of the 1818 version. Now, in the case of Del Toro, who loves tackling very specific themes between fathers and sons, and who has a very specific love for multiple previous incarnations of the character, you could see this coming. What he did, in my opinion, was to craft a story for those who have read the book and love the book, where they could see what they love, but also not really know what came next, which created a beautiful, touching experience. Now, for those who like the creature to be a bit more of a monster, and for Victor to be a bit more nuanced, as a lot of people put it, I get it. This is not necessarily that take on the original text. Okay, now, that covers that. The similarities between my version of the creature, who is telling his story from the modern day, and Del Toro's version of the creature as presented in the movie. Warning for minor spoilers for each, the book and the movie. Both of our creatures have regenerative capabilities that are visible. We both chose to display that at the first time it's revealed with a slice to the hand that you watch heal. Very, very different context, but yeah, sure, it shares that. Because if you're gonna give someone regenerative capabilities, that's an easy way to display it. It tells the audience exactly what you need them to know. I don't for a minute think he lifted from it. I do feel, I did send him a copy when it was first published. I was like, I feel like you genuinely appreciate this. Because I knew what type of director he was, and that he had a love for the book and for the characters, and had an inclination to believe he would appreciate my interpretation of it. I don't know if he read it. I can tell you that watching the movie, I felt so seen that I would believe it if someone told me he had, because the interpretations in a lot of ways are very similar. We approach the creature in a very similar fashion. We approach our version of Victor, spoiler, mine's not called Victor in my book, in a very particular fashion, and their personalities are to deal with certain stories we wanted to tell, to deal with certain emotional arcs we wanted to tell, which are similar. Again, if you like Del Toro's movie, if you just watched it and you like it, I'm telling you, you might pretty much enjoy this, and it could almost serve as a continuation, if not for the changes to the backstory I make with my retelling with the creature telling it. But like, the characters feel, the interpretation of the characters is so similar that you could feasibly be like, hey, that part at the end where you're left hanging and wondering what comes next, this could fill that for you. Just saying. But there are other moments, very specific visual moments, where I felt like, oh, it's just like what I wrote. I love it. And again, no, not for a moment am I going, he read it and he took it. No, I'm looking at it and I'm going, I feel such a kinship to the person who wrote this, that we both interpreted it so similarly. And sometimes that means, hey, I want to do this thing. How would I do that? This element plus this element plus this element. You do this and it's going to make a big impact. And we chose some of the same elements, admittedly. We read the same story we were inspired by. Come on. It just so happens we both did specific things like, oh, I've not seen that before, because both of us were going, what have I not seen before that I could do different? And okay, we drew some serendipitous alignment. I love it. I thoroughly loved it. Now again, if you're looking for the Boris Karloff, James Whale version, you're not gonna, this ain't your bag. It's not the same. It's not that pop culture expectation of Frankenstein and his monster. And if you're looking for just straight one-to-one, the same story you've seen before as, or that you've read before with just Frankenstein, it's not that either. But if, like many of us, you always shared a deep sympathy and kinship towards the creature, and maybe harbored some strong feelings towards Victor that were relatable for you to feel more in line with the creature, or if you just love the language and the dialogue of the era and you appreciate the creature and the way that he is presented. I'm just saying. All right, that's my piece. I'm not all jumpy up and down today. Still working on my coffee. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I don't post on here often, but maybe check back every now and again. I don't know. I might do more.